Like, I mean, in this interview, you're showing a lot of energy, a lot of like, passion.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
They always call it like what the A team.
It's not
mental
just
health.
about the craft.
We want to hire people that are more interested than interesting.
When do you think is the time to leave?
I don't think there's any company that's going to be perfectly like inside there. You're going to be happy, like, oh, aha. It's not really why. Your energy comes from your psychology and how you choose to present yourself.
Strongly suggest people to spend some more effort and time to do with things in here.
You trade all your expectations for appreciation. It means everything you.
Okay, the next one I have is since you are the lead animator in Passion Republic, let's not just talk about Passion Republic. Let's talk about leadership lah. In this 7 years of your career, I'm sure you work with quite a few project leads or work with different leaders. But what is your take on what is a good leadership, especially in this field, in this art field?
I think a good leader is somebody that's a really good communicator. He's able to make sure that everybody in the team is aligned and understand, okay, this is my vision, this is where we're heading. If you have any comments about it or you don't agree, I'm always open to listen to your disagreements. But I think the best leaders are the type of people that really communicate really everything well, communicates his vision well, and also the best leaders are the ones that really care about their teammates. They really care about all of them. It's like they want the best for all of them, and they never force anybody to do anything they don't want to do. It's like, okay, this direction, are you okay? If you're okay, let's do it together. If you're not okay, it's okay. When we can always discuss how to work things out. I think I'm gonna mention names. Julian, shout out to Julian. One thing I learned from him, he's one of our lead animators. So he really cares about his teammates. That's something I find a lot of inspiration and I steal it from him. And as his teammate also, you feel that sense of like, okay, this guy wants the best for me. I want to do better for the team. It's how vibe. So I think major 2 points is like communicating well and also caring for the team. And also one more thing I think is like having no ego, never taking anything too personally.
Whoa,
if people disagree, yeah, I think as a leader, right, we very easily fall into trap. Like, okay, 我跟你讲这个，你就要做. I tell you do this, you must do this. But it's really not that simple, and it's really like, okay, if you tell him to do that, does he understand why he needs to do it? And it comes down to communication like this. If he understands why, then you don't need to force him to do it. So I think that's great leader. I'm all over the place. Say all these stuff.
In general, yeah. But it's good. It's good. You kind of cover like a little bit. I'll go in depth a little bit. When it's too broad,
I wrote
I'll
it down
cover.
a bit.
Oh, that's nice. It is good to hear from someone not from the Western because when I started as a lead animator that time, I struggle a lot in leading my team. I always have the thought that why they can't do it. This is the first thing that comes into my mind. Why they can't do it? Why they can't achieve this level of quality? I always ask why. I always point the pointer to them instead of me. I feel like that is what I've learned throughout the years now. Instead of pointing the finger to them, like why you can't complete that on time or why you can't complete that on quality, I point it back to me myself as a lead, how I can help them to achieve that, either as a quality or as a time. Or maybe we can go maybe slightly in depth, like how I can make this guy happy to work with me. So when I point the directions back to me myself as a lead, I have a lot of things to do. There's a lot of things that I can work on it, because I always thought, I mean, back then when I do not have this amount of experience, I always ask myself, like, why they can't do it, right? I can do it, I can do it in 2 days, right? Why they can't? Oh, it's simple only, but how hard can it be? That's why I always say, how hard can it be? Just do only lah, right? Just stay there for like few more hours. You can, for sure, you can achieve that. But that is usually not the case. Every time when I have that kind of thoughts, people are going to suffer. They got this tremendous amount of stress coming
Pressure.
directly from the lead, and
Yeah.
that didn't help improve their art. Obviously, they are efficient also, and because of that, a lot of people overtime, not only
Yeah.
on the weekdays, even on the weekends, right? Because we can't finish it. And when you come back on the weekend, if the lead is not around, you find it wow very comfortable. I can finally enjoy my art, right? And then only they can perform and all, right? But how Ronald, I want to ask you this question. How do we get the balance? How do you get the balance? Because sometimes if we give too much of the time to our teammates, sometimes they might take for granted, right? Oh, this is so relaxed, I have all the time I want, my lead care about me and all. But how? At the end, still we need to deliver on time and on quality, right? How do you do
Yeah.
this kind of situation?
Mm. Yeah, bro. How?
I believe
I
that's
think
what
we gotta,
a lot of people are facing also, the problem.
yeah. Yeah, I understand, like you want them to grow, but you don't want to overstress them also. And at the same time, if you don't give them too much stress, then if they become too relaxed, then it's a problem also. Where's the balance, right? I
Yeah.
guess from what I learned and everything is about really, like, I feel like for animation, I don't know about other places, it comes down to the animator's confidence. Because usually the animators, right, they know what to do and they know how to do it. It's just they are too pressured. They're not sure, like, oh shit, I'm not sure if I do this correct or not. I'm not sure if I do that correct or not. And sometimes I always let them, like, okay, just do it. And then if there's feedback, just make sure that you fix the feedback. Or because as a leader, also you gotta have to understand like what the client wants. So like if the client wants this and then your teammate like do this already and then you're like, this is probably not suitable for the client. Maybe you can add this, you can add that. Just try and steer them, but not control them. But I think the most important thing is to help them build their confidence. And a lot of times I notice their confidence always get built up when their shots get approved. So I feel like the best thing for a leader to do is to help them get their shots approved as soon as possible. Then their confidence will up already. Then the next shot will be like, okay, I can get approved again. Or then the confidence get up. Then the next time when they do anything right, they get better and better and better. So I think definitely the solution for me is to help them build their confidence, help them get their shot approved, and then also allow them to make mistakes. Really let them make mistakes, and then when they make mistakes, really, then we just say, hey, it's okay, just learn from it. There's no point to make mistakes if you're not learning from it. If you learn from it, it's great. You gotta fail forward. And I feel like that's the healthiest solution for the team and everything. Because when everyone's like confident, they know, like, okay, I got approved. Then that just like momentum snowballs them to do better and better and better. It's my
That's
own
nice.
philosophy.
Give them room to make mistake.
Do mistakes, so have
That's
to.
nice. It seems like it's not it's definitely not an easy job to be a
Yeah,
lead. Right? You need to
to
have
be
the
patient.
capacity, right? Patient. And
Yeah,
still you need to do your task one. Right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
coming from a senior animator, now you are a lead
yeah,
animator. What is the main difference you think? If I mean, obviously as an animator, when we first started as an animator, we have a goal, right? I mean, probably
yeah,
someone don't have, but me myself, when I first started in the industry, I have a goal. I want to be the most gang one in the animator one. I don't know. The
yeah.
first step is senior, yes. The second step is maybe lead and then director and all.
Mm,
I, Back then I am not too sure what is that. And as an animator myself, I obviously want to hit the highest position, right?
yeah.
So I thought that, oh, as an animator, I need to be a lead animator. But is it like that from your point of view? Like, can a animator be a lead, or is it a different
Mm,
thing?
uh, for me, it's kind of opposite. I mean, I don't mean this to like denigrate like the title, but in my mind, right, I always tell myself it's just a title. I always say like that. Even back when I was a senior, right, I always say like, actually, if I'm a senior, even when I was still a senior, right, my power and my influence, right, is almost the same as a leader. It's like you can always, like, if you want to do a sharing, you can do a sharing. You want to do, like, you want to recommend this to the team, you want to suggest this to the team, you can always do it even if you're a senior. If you become a lead, it's just like a title switch. You're doing the same thing, it's just the title is different. But I guess, like, in your question was more like, should you focus to be a lead or something like that, is it?
Yeah.
More like, okay.
As your like a final goal like that.
My goal, for me personally, my goal was never to be like naik pangkat or anything lah. I always, until now,
Wow.
I hate, so cringy, but then, like, I really love making art. Honestly, I love to make art. I love to express my ideas. I feel like I'm born to do these type of things lah, to share. Like last time when I was a dancer, also I'm expressing myself. It's also art lah. And now I'm doing animation. It's also art lah. But then I become a lead because I can help enable other artists to also do their art together. I think leadership is just, I chose this position so that I can make sure that all my teammates, right, they're not lost. They're not like doing animation halfway, like, oh, when they sleep. At least as a leader, you can help them. Okay, you need support. How's everything? I want to make sure that everyone is clear. Like, okay, you want to still do art? Okay, let's do it together. If you're not sure what you want to do, it's okay. Take a break. Go do something else. But the reason I chose leadership is not because of like wanting the title or anything. It's more like, okay, I still want to make art, but I want everyone else to do art with me together. That type of feeling. Yeah, that's kind of how I look at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. It's very, very different from mine also. My perspective is that I really thought that as the highest level of animator is a lead animator. But back then I thought that when I become a lead animator, which means I can animate the best animations. But turn out in the reality is not. When you are a lead animator, that there's a big difference compared to like an artist. Because when you are a lead, you are in a managing role or a
Yeah,
leadership role. You will have
yeah.
lesser chance to animate already. So it is not like how I think, actually. So, and also all the school out there, they are only teaching on skill. Like there's not too much of school teaching you how to be a leader. So to a
Yeah.
lot of artists, right, they thought that, oh, I just want to keep moving forward. But then when you move up to this level as a leader, you might not know what to do, right? You start to have a lot of stress, you start to have a lot of anxiety. And when you have
Yes.
anxiety as a lead, right, it is not so good for the team, to be very honest. And you got low confidence because it feels like your team is not supporting you,
Yeah.
right? And every time when you speak in front of people, you feel like, oh, holy shit, people are going to judge me. I,
Judge
I,
me.
I want to go back to animate. Oh my god, I want to go back to animate. And
Yeah.
that is exactly how I feel it, right? But I'm lucky. I'm lucky enough that my heart is slightly stronger and my face is a bit thicker lah. It
Yeah.
didn't destroy me. It didn't destroy me. In fact, I I I treat it as like a new skill, just like animation. I treat it as a new skill, and I keep learning, keep listening to a lot of podcasts, and obviously read the book. Start with why. Get watch a lot of Simon Sinek video, on YouTube. Shout out to that guy. That guy inspired me so much about being a leader. Then it becomes like, now I am happy with whatever I'm doing, like, and in the same time I'm teaching also. So which means that I am not detached from the art also lah, right? Because being a lead animator, you have to understand the skill level, right? It's not just about
Yeah.
assigning people, it's not just about the project type and all.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. It's like a totally different thing. If you want to
Yeah.
animate like the best animation ever, the most efficient way to animate, lead animator is not the one that you need to pursue. Oh, it's a
Yeah. Yeah.
whole different thing. That's my experience lah.
Principal.
Maybe a
Become a
principal,
principal
maybe
animator.
animation supervisor, but obviously it all depends on your studio size lah, right? And also what
Yeah.
you are working on as well. And then just now you did talk about communications, right?
Yes.
What do you think is a good communication, especially when you have like a slightly bigger team? What is good communication?
good communication is when everyone is aligned. I don't know how to answer this, so just speak in English. Or if they don't, okay. Here's the thing, right? I think it's important to definitely talk to everybody all together, but I also feel like it's super important to talk to each of them one by one. You really have to get to know them and build a relationship. I think real communication is about really understanding all your teammates' personality, their strength, and everything. I think I'm gonna mention LB. LB, shout out to LB, one of our previous colleagues. When she was leading one of the projects, and then she was one of the teammates was going through a hard time, I think. And then I think what she did was she had a meeting with him one-on-one. And then the question is nothing to do with the project. It's always asking him about his life. What's your direction? What's your goal? What's your, where you're planning to go? How are you and everything? And that sense of connection really inspired him to do better. The teammate that she was going through the challenges with. And then that really inspired me, because I'm like, oh yeah, you really need to build a relationship and really understand and really not to lecture them, but really understand them and really grow with them together in a personal level. So I think that's what our boss also does. Like Sun, he always meet up one-on-one with everybody to really understand their point of view.
Yep.
And I think that's good communication. Communication is not about speaking. It's a lot about listening and understanding. That's the way. Yeah.
But do you do that to your teammate?
I was planning to do it, but then I'm gonna shout out Leanne again. I didn't shout out to Leanne. I think she's planning to do it, something like that in our team. So I would say, okay, you do it first. I'll just support you. And I wanted to do it myself and meet everybody one-on-one. But then I'm like, okay, if my other teammate wants to do it first, let her do it first. And then if her listening is really well, then she probably understands the teammates better than she can communicate it with me. Then at least I understand the teammates from her point of view. So I let my other teammates do it first. But most of the time I am because our office got Office. Office is a virtual desktop. I mean, in case you guys don't know, we have a thing where we have a virtual office where we can walk around in the office and talk to people, whoever you stand next to it. So I try and make it a habit, every day when I work in the morning, I just walk around and just talk to people hey, how are you? How's everything? Are you good? Are you married? Are you single? Taken? Got target already? That thing.
Nice. It seems like there's a lot of work. For example, if your team has 10 to 20 people, you have to do it. You have to follow up with everyone. And then you have to make sure the thing that you are asking is you have to make sure you ask the right question also, right? In order for them to connect. Then in the same time, you still have work to do. In the same time, you still have to talk to, the client and all. How do you manage that? Is it how it sounds like really crazy, the amount of work that you have. How do you do with it?
Well, you're gonna have to animate less already at this point. I always spend half a day every day. Half a day is mostly on meetings and talking to people and troubleshooting problems. When you reach that leadership role, right, you definitely have less time to animate already. That's something that you gotta deal with. And then also, I look forward to it, man. Whenever I get to connect with my teammates, right, I really enjoy it. There's always something to learn. There's always something. Yeah. Every time I think I won't learn anything new, I'll be surprised. And I always say, wait, you play Genshin Impact? I didn't know you're a gamer. Or, I just found out the day from Linus. Shout out to Linus, one of my teammates. He said in China, there's a situation happening in China where they ban guys cannot be too girly or whatever. I'm like, what? Oh, you know about this? You know about this?
I don't know. I don't know about this.
Oh, okay. Apparently in China now, you cannot be too feminine. Say if guy cannot put lipstick out or whatever. They want to bring manliness back to China.
Wow. Okay.
So the day I was critic session and I'm hey, wow, that's interesting. I keep talking to him about it. I learned something new today.
Damn.
Yeah. Keep segueing to other stuff. Right? Continue. So
No. It's fine. It's fine. We can just go with the flow, right? Because it is definitely not easy to be a lead. As in, it's equally busy one, to be honest. It's just that we have lesser time to animate, When as an animator, you have all the time to animate. I feel like it's equally busy one, because sometimes the artist might think, oh, my lead is very busy. He has this to do, he has
Yeah.
that to do, and that to do, right? But then as an animator myself also, I am busy also, right? Or
Yeah.
maybe we don't use the word busy lah, just kind of fully occupied also. I am fully occupied
Mm,
also. So sometimes when I mean as an artist, sometimes we don't dare to talk to our team lead, right? And when you
mm,
have problem, you don't dare to voice it out. You just want to settle by
yeah.
yourself. You don't even dare to
Yeah.
talk to your friend because you feels like your peers cannot help you that much. Then you keep it
Yeah.
all to yourself, and that is not healthy for you to keep moving forward lah. Yes, you
Yeah.
might be okay for the first few months. I mean, if you are stronger, you can tank for it years or so, but it will always be in there one. So I mean, it is good that if your lead are open to connect with you, try to
Mm,
talk to them, your lead, your boss, or your superior or whatever, if can, talk to them. But I totally understand the situations lah, where a lot of
yeah. Yeah.
teammates, they don't believe in their leaders lah. But that leads me to another question, Ronald. If someone don't believe in your leadership, how when you notice a teammate, he is always in a different direction one, he just don't believe in you, and he has problem, he will never talk to you one. Probably he will
Mm,
at, I don't know, at the back he might talk about it with some of his best friend and all. How you deal with this kind of situation?
think first thing first, don't take it personally. Yeah. If people don't believe in
Ooh,
your leadership, that is probably a good opportunity to discuss how you can improve your leadership. So, like,
damn.
100% everybody is going to judge all your decisions, right? And nobody is going to 100% love your decision and say, yeah, I agree with you 100%. But then when those things happen, then I believe the best way to do is to really talk to him in an open heart way, or her, whoever is not believing in your leadership, and ask them why. Why do you feel like my direction is not right? And how do you feel if you're in my position? Like, what would you do to change that? And then really listen to his opinion and really absorb it in, and not 100% agree, but really maybe there's something you can learn from it. I think that's the right attitude to have, is to really consider their point of view without any form of judgment or ego, and really discuss it in a healthy way. Like, okay, you feel like we all shouldn't wear pink color shirt. Why we shouldn't wear pink color shirt? I can discuss stuff on. But most important is definitely put the ego aside. If people shut down or don't agree with me, okay, why? Why is it? Let's discuss about it. I want you to tell me what you disagree with me. I'll listen. I won't judge. I won't be angry. I think that's the right way to deal with it,
Nice.
if you ask me.
But when you talk about ego, that is a good topic to talk about also as an artist. We take pride on whatever we do, right? As an artist, it's a craft thing.
Yeah.
It's very subjective. Egos
Mm,
always, sometimes ego can push us further. So if
mm,
sometimes we say that, oh, put down your ego and not, sometimes it might affect your work a little bit. Oh, okay, never mind one. I don't care too much about this detail. I'll move on to the other part. But
mm,
how do you balance this ego thing and how it really impact your work?
mm, mm. For me, I know I'm different than you, because I think I discussed this with you before. For me, I think ego is totally not helpful for me. Uh, why? Because ego, I used to be a competitive dancer. I understand a lot about my own personal egos. I very kiasu. Like, sometimes back then, when I swipe Instagram, also I see anybody or any guy doing better than me, I'm like, really king man. This guy very good man. 还好啦. This sort of thing is all your ego lah. You want to put people down to make yourself feel better. And then when it comes to ego, for me, it doesn't help me at all, because when you don't question your ego, you take yourself too seriously. And you take yourself too seriously, or nobody dares to joke with you, nobody dares to talk to you, and they'll be like, oh, 人家他生气, or later you angry. And then you're like, you realize a lot of people don't feel like talking to you, because you're like so serious. You're like, people have to take me seriously. And then, like, when that happens, the truth is, the best thing to do is really, I feel, is to just look at yourself like you're nothing. Like you're gonna die one day. Like whatever success you get today, or whatever you do amazing things, right? You're gonna die, and nobody's gonna really care. And that's okay. I know it sounds really negative, but then for me, it makes me, I feel very positive. Whenever I think like this, then I'm like, chill lah. Then a lot of the small problems, right, don't really matter. Then I don't need to overemphasize about being successful. I want to be successful. My name has to be out. No one gives a shit. Even the most famous people, when they die, yeah, people still remember them. But then like the past people that already do so much accomplishment, but then they die also, no one really cares. And for me, ego doesn't help. It really doesn't help. It makes you cynical. It makes you very negative. It makes you compare yourself towards stupid things like, oh, 哇，他的头发比较美啊，我的头发比较美 or something like that. And then it doesn't push my work also. It doesn't push my animation also. My animation always gets pushed the best when I have that true desire to create something beautiful, to create something nice, to create something meaningful to me. It's nothing to do about getting, I want to make my art better than people. No, it doesn't drive me like that. It's always like, okay, I want to make the best art I can make. If it's good, it's good. It's bad, it's bad. At least I learn from it. But ego ruins everything. Ego is the number one thing that causes conflict. It causes friendships to be lost, or because we feel like we deserve some form of respect. But if I really pay attention and notice about all the friendships I've had, or the friendships that I've observed that suddenly a few years later they're not friends anymore, usually it's ego. It's always ego that causes like conflict here and there. So I try, whatever I do, I always throw it outside. When I'm leading the team, I throw my ego away. When I'm rolling in jiu-jitsu, I throw it away. I talk to my parents, my brothers, I just throw it away. Like, it just doesn't help. And yeah, that's just my point of view.
Nice. That's something that a lot of people can really think about it lah. Especially artists, us as an artist. Sometimes we thought that ego can push us further because we have someone to compete with. But then when if suddenly you have no one to compete with, then you will be like, oh, what should I do next? What should I do next? You'll be like that lah. And also obviously when you are always in a competitive state, right? You always want to win, right? Then you give a lot of stress to yourself, lah. And when you give too much stress to yourself, yes, you can produce something very, very good. Yeah. Yes, you can do that. But then how long you can maintain that? How long you can do that for, right? Because animations or art, if that is your career, which means it will like long, right? It should be like 10, 20, maybe even 30 years. Right? Yes, maybe you can do it for the first month or the first 3 months, but how? I have a lot of example. I heard a lot of stories from obviously from our industry. A lot of people, because of that, they got too stressful. They got anxiety every time when they want to show their work because they thought it's not good enough. If I compete with that guy, oh my god! If I compete with that guy, shit, my work for sure is shit. I don't feel like showing out already. And that really goes backward lah. It's not going in front lah. So the whole takeaway from Ronald sharing is that put down your ego as much as possible. If Ken don't want to have that, I think that's best. But if we put that down, how do we level up? We put love to it, right? So now this lead to another question: how you can have this much of love to your work or to your craft? Just now Ronald did mention, I just want to make things come to life. That is the passions that you have, right? But how can you always have that? I'm sure sometimes that thing will just kind of missing, right? To find that back, right? How you do that?
I think it's for me, my mindset is always, I always remind myself, just do your best. Like, don't compete, don't need to compare yourself to anybody. Whatever you're doing, just do your best. Because sometimes when you compete, you try to be like somebody else, and that's a problem. And I think Gary Vaynerchuk, the famous entrepreneur guy, he said something I really love. He said, a penguin can never be a tiger, So you should be the best penguin that you can be. But
Oh.
I feel like it's such a meaningful word. You know what? It's true, right? Like no matter what you do, guarantee 100%. No matter how good you do anything, there'll be people 10 times better than you, better looking, wiser, smarter, more slick,
Taller.
better animation, taller. That one's my life. But that, just so you guys know, I'm a very short guy. So that's I mean this camera very hard to see.
Nice.
Okay, anyways. But the thing I always tell myself ever since in college also, I always say do my best. No matter what your assignment will be probably be shit on, but at least you do your best. But the philosophy of doing your best is what does it mean? It means doing everything that you can possibly do. It means what time you wake up, how much hours. If I can spend 5 hours on this, can I spend 5 hours? That's doing your best really, right? And then if I can learn from my mistakes, that's doing your best really. And then don't need to compare on I mean it's easy for me to say lah. Like it's normal for our ego to be like, oh, 那个人比我 gay， 那个人很厉害咩？我也是可以吗？ You know, type of thing. But I think that's a trap. That's really a trap. I've seen it happen so many times. It's not gonna elevate you because you're always comparing yourself, and then you always think that somebody is shining more than you. Don't care. No matter how small, there's so many stars in the world in the universe, or every star will still shine. No matter how small or big, right? You're still shining. And I think the important thing is for you to shine your own way. You have to really have that self-awareness to understand, okay, this is who I am. I want to do this. And the part about putting love inside is, for me, it's just that desire to do my best. I think the value is doing your best. And if you do your best, right, you oftentimes will surprise yourself. Really, as long as you don't compete and then you say, okay, this is my soul, I want to share it out and see how it looks like, and that will inspire a lot of people, I feel.
That is inspiring already, Ronald. Thank you so much for thank you so much
You watch the
for
last
sharing this, and this is the reason why I want to do this podcasting for my
yeah.
channel. It's a totally new thing. It's a new thing to me. I am just an animator. But then the more I have capacity in my heart, right, the more I open my vision bigger, like what I can do as a human. I don't just say as an animator what I can do. If I just ask myself, how what else can I do if I were to
Yeah.
inspire more people, right? Maybe I can do a channel, maybe I can do a podcast. I don't know. I don't know what this will lead me to. It is not about money for sure. I have a full-time job in Passion Republic.
Yeah.
I have a part-time teaching also. It is just about, like what Ronald mentioned, is just the love that I want to share with the artists out
Yeah.
there. There's a lot of people like you that is very passionate about art, but still want to be in the career and be happy also. That's
Yeah.
the one of the main reason. And then speaking about that, obviously we need to link it back to education in Malaysia, and our industry is growing. Yes, there's more bigger company that are opening their branch in Malaysia also. What do you think of our current educations in Malaysia? I'm obviously relating back to this animation industry.
Education. I don't know too much lah, because I haven't gone back to the education industry for
But
a
you've
long
been
time
guiding
or
new
anything.
joiners, right?
New joiners. Okay. Okay. Before I talk about new joiners, I will say from my point of view lah, back in college or the this is just my own personal feeling lah. But then personally, I feel like a little unfortunate for some of the students sometimes, because they pay a lot, but then they prepare themselves for the industry, and then they usually, a lot of times, their lecturer is like the recent graduates, and then the recent graduates that never had any industry experience, and then the reason they teach is because they don't want to go into the industry. So it's like recycle. I graduate and then I don't even have any industry experience. I come and teach, and those students kind of suffer in a way lah. And I remember back then in my time in college also, one of the lecturers literally tell me, she's like, yeah, the industry sucks, man. That's why I don't want to be in the industry. That's why I'm teaching you guys. Then I'm like, wow, what kind of message you're sending all the students? Oh? But I don't know about if it's happening now. I think it's better, I believe, because you're teaching there, Ming Ken's teaching there, I think a few other like more like experienced people teaching there. So I guess it's better now. But back then it was that vibe, that vibe of like, oh shit, recycling the student lecturer type of thing. And I'm like, oh, it's kind of unfair. We're paying so much and then you doing this to us. Like, but then if you're asking me the region graduates that, because I'm guiding new fresh graduates and everything, it's gonna sound so lame. But number one is really your attitude. It's not really like your talent or what, it's really your attitude and your desire to grow up. If your attitude is very like, I'm very, very king already, I don't need to listen to you or anything, then hello, the team is not gonna want to work with you. But then if you have that intense desire to grow and learn and improve, right? Wow, the team is gonna be so happy to have you. That's number one, attitude.
Ooh, that's nice. I mean, it's quite unfortunate that most of the school out there, they are teaching skill only. They are
Yeah,
focusing a lot on skill, which will I feels like which it will actually increase your level of ego because you're
yeah,
only
yeah,
teaching skill and then they are competing each other in the class. I'm not too sure in a
yeah,
good or in a bad way lah. Okay, but then if you're
yeah,
only talking about skills, right, they will automatically compare to each other, one, right? Or maybe when
yeah,
the teacher or when the lecturer is showing someone's work, in front of the screen, look at this guy, this guy's good, man. Then you be like, oh shit, man, I want to be better than this guy. Or but to those that is slightly weaker one, they're like, holy shit, I am not even half on that level. Like, what should I do? Do I give up now? Go back? I don't
mm,
know. I study another one. So that
yeah,
is quite unfortunate to some of the student lah. But the
yeah,
advice from Ronald bring up a good point is that attitude is kind of speak everything lah, right? But there's this one quite how to say because you say attitude is important right? But if you do not have a good reel, no matter what kind of good attitude you have, also it's
yes,
still quite hard to
it's
find a
true,
job, right?
it's true,
Then
it's true.
how do you find the balance, Ronald? What is
Okay,
the suggestion that you can give to the students?
okay, my suggestion, I really highly suggest this. If you want to be an animator and you feel like that's the direction you want to be, right? Before you graduate, right, straight away work on your demo reel already, I would say. Like at least 1 or 2 years before you graduate, if you feel like animation is the one you want to do, straight away work on personal work. Spend time, 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, just animate your own personal project and then put it at least inside your demo reel. Because like if let's say 2 years before you graduate, you're already working in your personal animation. But if you work on one animation a month, by the end of 2 years, you got at least like 24 different personal shots. Then all of them more than enough for your demo reel already. And also, as long if you're doing your own personal work, right, you're constantly learning from those mistakes and you're growing. By the time you finish like your latest animation, right, you're already very confident. And then your quality is there, your demo reel is there already. And then you still haven't added your college assignments. And
Right.
those are how you build a strong demo reel. And speaking of attitude, also, attitude is not something you have to say or vocalize. People can see it through your work. Right? People can see it through the way you carry yourself and everything. So that's what I mean. And to link back to education, right? I think I wrote this down in my notes. I said that 20% is the education, 80% is the artist, the student's attitude. Because like most of the time, you spending most of your effort and everything in your assignment and your growing. The lecturers are there to just guide you. Okay, here's what it is. I'm just gonna teach you some facts and some skills. These are the way to do things. But 80% is your own. You need to apply it with your brain. You need to apply it with your attitude. You need to put the effort in. You need to put the work in. So try not to depend too much on the education. Depend highly on your own desire to grow, your own desire to.
That's nice, and
Yeah,
especially right nowadays, internet is so accessible. If you want to know more about, let's say, parenting or know more about slow in or slow out, there's so many things out there in the internet that you can learn, right?
yeah,
right? If you depend too much on your lecturer only, right, you will only learn
yeah,
the
yeah,
things that he share in the class, like that 2 hours
yeah,
only. That's all, man. You
yeah.
can spend the whole night or 2 months just to study slow in and out. The next time you can be the
Yeah,
best
yeah,
slow in and slow out artist.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
Be
that is something
proactive.
that I always suggest to student how don't just rely on one
Yeah,
lecturer. Talk to more
yeah,
people,
yeah,
share your work to people. If you take down,
yeah,
we go back. If you take down your ego, then only you dare to show your
yeah,
work to people, ma, right? You can tell them, oh,
yeah,
I haven't
yeah,
finished
yeah.
this yet, but let them
Exactly.
see lah. Let them see
Yeah,
what
let them see
they
lah.
think about your shots. You know, maybe they can give you
Let
some
them
good
judge it.
ideas. You know, I know
Let
it is
them
not
judge it.
easy to do to put down your ego. It is not easy to
Yeah,
do at all, because
yeah,
as this is how we grow up as a person.
yeah, yeah,
I'm sure it's not just happening in Asia. I think it is not just happening in Asia. I think this is human, right?
yeah.
We are very
Human
competitive
nature.
one. When
Yeah,
someone is better than us, we want to top them, right? But what
yeah,
about those like slightly weaker one? Right?
yeah,
So we go back to that attitude. If you have a good attitude where you always want to strive for better, always compete with yourself, you want to just do better only. If I have the chance
yeah,
to animate, I will animate better than my previous one. Then every
yeah.
single time when you look back, you're like, ah, damn, I should have, made this heavier. Take that and put it in your current one because the past is the past already. And so if you have a good attitude, if you set that attitude right where you first step into the college, I'm sure you will shine, later on.
Yeah,
And a lot of people will want this kind of teammate one. You are going to
yeah,
shine in the
yeah.
interview session also, or not just on the demo reel.
Mm-hmm.
It's again, it's not easy to do. It is definitely hard. Definitely hard. You will have to experience first, lah. Me myself, I experienced in a super high level of ego until now. The ego is slightly lower. I wouldn't say zero, but it's slightly lower, and I can really taste the two world. I can understand the difference between these two world, and I can really understand the good and the bad, lah. Yeah, that is
So,
mine.
Timot, just
Yes.
asking, so for you, you feel like ego helps you a lot also lah, in a way. The benefit
Yeah.
is there lah.
In a way, it helps me a lot. But I don't take this ego as like as my enemy.
Controlling
Like
form.
I kind of control the
Ah.
ego lah. If I want to improve
Mm-hmm.
right now, I will open a lot of my, let's say, peers animations, put it on the second
Mm.
screen. I've just put it there. I'm like, holy shit, man, that guy's good, man. I want to do that also. And sometimes I go
Ah,
on the Vimeo, look into some of the very,
Vimeo.
very nice
Yeah.
animation reel, like, I want to be good. That really pushed me further. But that is I mean, I would say it's a slightly higher level lah. You can control it. When you need it, you open it. When you don't want it, you off it. I think that is in a
Yeah.
whole new level. And
Yeah.
I'm working very hard on my switch right now because it's very dangerous to have that. But I
Yeah.
always feels like if I can control myself mentally, I can do whatever I want. I can be in any kind of situations. That goes
Yeah.
into the mentally. That's the thing that we discussed like 1 hour ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a great session, Ronald. I always talk to Ronald, and I know that Ronald has a lot of
Ay, my
opinion
God.
on different topic, and Ronald really inspired me a lot throughout my career lah. Or even though Ronald has lesser experience than me, but I learned so much from him or the pureness of joy when we are making art lah. Also, Ronald also got work on his art. Later on I'll put on Ronald's link, down there. Ronald recently is working on some VR thing. Very 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 different from what he do at work lah. That is what inspired me to have this channel also lah. I want to do something different from my work, but still art related. Still
Yeah.
inspiring people. Okay.
Still
Any last
self-expression.
thing that you want to share with everyone, Ronald, before we wrap this?
Uh, I honestly would say like try your best not to take yourself too seriously. It's animation is just, it's an art form. You're expressing, you're trying to bring a character to life. And if we take it too seriously, it might not look too lively also, animation. And we gotta really learn to have fun during the most tense situations. And just enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride. Don't allow your animation to define who you are. If you're an animator and then you look at animation so seriously, or to the point where whenever you make a bad animation, then you want to like kill yourself, whatever. Like, bro, it's just animation, chill, man. Life is more than just art. Life is everything, man. It's the relationship, your family. Look at it in a bigger spectrum. And if you're overly competitive, I would really suggest anybody that's overly competitive to try out combat sports like Muay Thai or Jiu-Jitsu, because that one makes sense to be competitive. That one really makes sense. But then like for something subjective like your art, you don't need to compete if you're expressing who you are authentically. That's what I think. But I know animation is a bit, in the industry slightly different. But if you're making your own art, right, just like express who you are honestly, who you are like internally inside. Everybody has something inside that they need to let out. And I really encourage people to have the courage to really show who you are outside and let them judge you. Let them judge you and then you learn from it and really embrace it. And I feel like that's a healthy, happier way as an artist.
Damn, there's a lot to take in, man, Ronald. There's a lot of like quote from Ronald. Next time we have quote from Ronald already. Amazing. Thank you so much, Ronald, for supporting me coming into this channel and obviously share all your knowledge with the people out there that is interested in art or interested in this industry. I always find it funny if I were to say that, but now I'm going to say this one thing. Please like and subscribe. People are going to make fun of me. But never mind. Let them. Wow, I hope so. I hope so. Okay. I guess that's about it. I'll see you tomorrow at work.
Oh yeah, I'll see you every day.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much.
Take care, brother.
Thank you so much, everyone.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care, brothers. Bye.